You're watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hack.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
I do think that it was not a positive thing for you as a young girl growing up, and her putting that on you.
Hey, let this play for a second.
That you're not good enough.
This is truth. He's talking about colorism. Listen to these lyrics real quick. Turn it up.
Being a child growing up.
He said that you was pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I'm certain what he meant was the compliment. Your exquisite chocolate in this white man's world. His programming has damaged his understanding and he can't see. Put a mirror on your wall and made you ask it. Who was the fairest of them all? A game you could never win because of your melanin. Queen, you ain't never been fair-skinned. He was fucking with your intelligence. My woman, you were kissed by the sun and them haters can't stop it. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday morning on T Radio V. You know what that is. Monday morning, 11 p.m. or a.m. sharp. You know what that is. It's the So What Morning Show. We got a heavy heater in the building right now. You know what we got to do. We got to have a difficult conversation. It's what I do. I bring these conversations to the forefront because whether you like it or not, you're going to have to deal with living here in America with certain realities. And if you are uneducated and unaware about what's going on, how do you really know what you're aspiring to have? That's a hell of a question. Like, if you don't know what's going on in the culture and the society in which you live, how do you know what you're aspiring to have? How do you know if that's valuable or not? Or if it has any worth at all? We're going to deal with it today, but as is commonplace, I got to promote black businesses. But before I get to the first black business, let me do this. No, the first black business is the sister who made all of this happen today. She brought Dr. Boyce Watkins into the building, a sister by the name of Rashida. What's the name of her business real quick, brother?
blackallegiance.net.
blackallegiance.net. What exactly does it do?
Well, the theme of Black Allegiance, from what I understand, right, it's Rashida's company, but Black Allegiance is all about pledging allegiance to the black community. We pledge allegiance to the flag, and that's what we've been brainwashed to do.
Wow.
But no, we need to pledge allegiance to a new flag, pledge allegiance to our community, give our community the same respect we give everything else, and that will solve 90% of our problems right there.
Wow. And the shirts and
Yes, they sell apparel and all kinds of things that allow you to really wear your community on your sleeve. There you go.
what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Go out and cash mob blackallegiance.net. Cash mob, you know what the term means. It means you got cash in your pocket. We're going to all collectively mob blackallegiance.net right now. Is that what we're going to do? That's what we're going to do. My homeboy Geoff is walking in late, which is normal. Bring your funny ass in here. As a matter of fact, pull that chair up. And Rita G. Rita G, you come on this side. Geoff, you go on that side. Yes. All right, so look. This is another cash mob movement we got to take care of right now. All the black businesses that I support should follow this model. It was a white company that stepped up and said, "We'll do it, Zoe." So I'm challenging all of the black companies that I'm about to promote for free to do the same. We have a model right now, a model of possibility. Me Undies, an underwear company, right, said, for anybody who purchases, who goes to my website right now, IamZoeWilliams.com, anybody who goes to IamZoeWilliams.com and purchases a copy of my book right now will get a pair of underwear for free. All you got to do is type in your order, Me Undies, in the order, free underwear.
Look here, I bought one of them books. I ain't getting no drawers.
That was years ago. Okay.
So I got to buy another book to get some draws?
Yes, buy a book today, you'll get some draws.
Some people need some clean draws.
I think Geoff is in need of clean draws right now.
Anyway, I'm in need of new draws.
No, and here's the flip. These are the draws. They go all the way up to the size 3X. These are the men draws. I got on a pair of these right now, right?
That's the Mervin sizes.
And here go the girl draws.
Okay,
the
yeah.
Girl draws go all the way up to 2X.
Okay.
Model? No, don't model none of that. All right, and, let's see. What else? More girl draws. Now, look, here's the flip. If you go to my Indiegogo page, this is where Me Undies stepped in and said, we got your back on your Indiegogo page. They said, listen, anybody who gives a donation on your Indiegogo page of $50 or more, we giving away his and hers draws. You and your woman. Yeah, could match before y'all hatch.
Matching draws.
You feel me? Matching draws. So they're going to support that whole movement. I just wanted to say, Me Undies, thank you for your support. That's meundies.com. If you want to go there and check out a lot of their apparel. It's an underwear company. Listen, free draw, well, kind of free. Right? You buy my book, IamZoeWilliams.com, you get a free pair. You donate to my, and of course, this is an ongoing campaign. I'm going to be shouting out everybody who just donated to us, right? I'm going to shout out everybody throughout the show who's donating. As a matter of fact, 44 minutes ago, Malachi Bryant donated $20. Robert Jones donated an hour ago $50. And 2 days ago, we got Kirby Cameron with $50. Somebody 2 days ago, Anonymous, $110. Please put your name. Don't put your email address because I really want to shout you out. Chris Floyd, 3 days ago, $50. Let's move on it now. Me Undies will support every donation to the Zoe Williams new book, The Holographic Relationship, and they will also support anybody who purchases the relationship dismount. Go to my website, IamZoeWilliams.com. Now that bit of information is out the way, Shepherd Family Suites, get that website up. Hey, this candy is for anybody here who wants to participate, right? This is known as legal Oxycontin.
Yeah, throw me that light skin candy.
This is legal crack right here.
Throw me
The
the light skin
sister
candy.
over at Shepherd Sweets creates this stuff by hand. It's toffee,
Oh my
it's
God.
chocolate, it's what is this?
It's
almonds and
It's orgasm in a can.
it's retarded. It's here. She sends it,
Yeah,
you know, for everybody to participate and enjoy.
Pass around. Yeah.
Let's keep the black business promotion going. One of the most ornery and intelligent and just angry, man. Put the camera on him right now, give him the finger right now. This is how he was in the 6th grade. He was 62 in the 6th grade. Right? But I'm going to tell you right now, one of the most intelligent brothers I know. That's why we run together. He don't respect your car, but he's smart.
Oh, yeah, he don't give a damn about your car.
He get in your car, put all type of chicken crumbs in there.
Start cutting his toenail.
But shit be smart. Be like, boy, I'm going to tell you something about your life. Anyway, get this man's book. This is a manual for manhood. Listen, real men don't play. You get it at realmendon'tplay.com. Bobby did not play with this.
No, he did not.
Jim Brown, Lionel, what is it? Lionel Collins. It's a gang of heavy hitters in here, and Bobby put this book together. You got to get it. He also wrote this book, Let's Go to Work, with the brother Leon T. Gar. Tell him Leon T. Gar was a millionaire before he could spell the word million. Speak on it.
That's right. He said if you want to make money, you got to make friends. He's now 102 years old and still the cornerstone of black business in L.A.
How about that? I can smoke a bag of that. Dr. Mark Ghoulston, the resident token white man. Man, he's the anti-hero. A lot of people love him. A lot of people be like, God damn it, that damn white man is in there. White people shouldn't be in there while we having these type of high-level discussions.
Right?
You got an evil one in there. The devil is in there. Support this man's work. Hey, this book right here is no joke. This one, just listen. Please continue to support Dr. Mark Ghoulston's work. Oh, and by the way, people have been asking about these Ramomar shirts. I've got 3 Ramomar shirts for the next 3 relationship dismount orders.
Oh, man.
Somebody order the relationship dismount. You
That's
get
going
King
to Jeff Brown's
Taharka.
house.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Bro.
The Nubian king. Look at that, brother. This is.
That look like Joe Torre.
Let me tell you about this. This is not silkscreen. This is dye sublimation. Oh, man, this stuff is high-quality business right here.
Wow.
The brother sent this stuff over here to be supported. So this is what we're doing. I've got 3 of these, or 3 different ones, and I'm going to tell you right now. For you big brothers, these are only XLs. So you might be able
to the gym.
Yeah, you might be able to wear it on your pinky, but you're not going to be able to wear it.
You are 15,000 sit-ups away.
Look at this. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, my God.
I got 3 shirts.
Bro.
Anybody who orders the relationship dismount from my website, IamZoeWilliams.com, will get one of these shirts. And I'm going to tell you, it's only 3. So the first 3 guys that come in, just type in Ramomar, and there it is. If you don't get it, that's it.
How do you
Sorry.
spell Ramomar? I want that shirt.
Ramomar. So Ram one way, O, then Mar the other way. Ram backwards. Ramomar.
I want one of those shirts, man.
Ramomar NYC is the website. The brother,
yeah.
let me tell you what the brother's done.
Yeah, that's
A
cool.
luxury brand with all black, well, not all black, but cultural accentuation. Asiatic. Right now he's in Syria. The colors and the patterns are Syrian. And then he's going to go China. Then he's going to go India. But right now he's in Egypt. Man, come on. Support that brother's movement. He wants to challenge and rival Louis Vuitton.
Yeah. And why shouldn't he?
And why shouldn't he? Blackallegiance.net.
Yes.
That's what she said. We should pay allegiance to ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
So that brother Ramomar NYC is doing that through his clothing. And I'm going to tell you right now, low key, he getting some flack.
Of course.
Let me tell you who he's getting flack from?
Who? Black people?
White people.
Oh, white people.
Because white people are his #1 patrons.
No.
Of course.
They buying the shit, and then they go on his social media, and they go on his websites and see a lot of pro-blackness, and they be like, well, wait a minute, we're keeping you rich. Now, guess what? We could change all of that if we poured money into him so he could say, fuck y'all. Because let me tell you something about blacks. It's too much capitulation. It's too much. Oh, hey, I'm going to be quiet.
Well,
let me finish this damn
I'll
segment, and then we go to break and come back,
another piece
and
of
then you
candy?
get to start.
You wanna have
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the community empowerment. Everything has been promoted. Wait a minute. We Juice. Got to do WeJuice.com. Everybody put up We Juice. Continue to support We Juice. Black-owned company. We'll get your juices out to you ASAP. Fresh squeeze. This brother is good.
One in?
Oh, wait. Yeah, you got one?
In.
Yeah.
Let's get a shout out to Yvette Carnell and Breaking Brown, BreakingBrown.com.
Breaking Brown.
Breaking Brown. She has some great information. She just got through talking about Obama when he went hard on Black Lives Matter. Go on there and check it out.
Here we go.
BreakingBrown.com is the best political blog in the country.
Let's do it.
White or black, other way. BreakingBrown.com, the best.
Breaking Brown.
And also, if anybody saw Zoe giving me some push kicks this week on his Facebook page,
Kick your ass. I did kick your ass.
he was all right. But
you wasn't saying that.
Yeah, you threw a couple of good kicks in there. But go ahead and give me a shout. Go to 3bbootcamp.com. That's the number 3, B as in boy, bootcamp.com, and I'll hook you up.
Oh, I got one more.
Yeah, no candy, y'all.
I got one more. Hey, y'all better get that candy before it's all gone. Listen, I got one more. Let's see. Mind-blowing mobile apps. The sister designed my app. If your radio program got to get an app.
Yeah, well, I do have an app. But,
You do?
But I want another app.
This sister.
So I'm going to hit this sister up.
Wanda Trotter from Mind Blowing Mobile. She did my app. When I tell you my app is ice cold. Lectures, you could sell them on there. Books, your campaigns, notifications. Hey, Zoe's about to come on the air right now. All type. She got it all set up.
Oh, I love it.
She is ridiculous, man. Mind-blowing mobiles, Wanda Trotter. You got to do it right now. That's it. I got to take a quick break. When we come back, the topic. Zoe What Mornings.
Your chocolate, kissed by the sun, and them haters can't stop it. I love the way you rock your chocolate. No skin.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
everybody knows that relationships, when they break down, can be extremely hurtful, disappointing, frustrating, and the cocoon was, the concept of it was created from a poem I wrote called The Human Chrysalis in my first book, The Rebirth of Seeds. And what I explained was, when you break up with someone, you need time and space to kind of flush out and process all of your feelings, all of your attachments, your evaluation of yourself, your evaluation of your partner, time to, almost take inventory of all of the things that you are accountable for. So in chapter 3, the cocoon is designed for you to go inside and work out these, particular problems or issues, and not only work them out, but actually take ownership of them before you jump into something else with someone else. So we wanted to create this space of healing, this space of kind of internal inventory before moving into the next situation with unresolved relationship debris.
Gotta let it go. There's a better day waiting for you, for you, for you.
Yo, what's up? This is your boy Kyle Mass, and you're checking out T Radio V.
T Radio V. T Radio V.
Hello, T Radio V. Love you guys.
Radio in TV.
Radio in TV.
You are watching T Radio V. Radio in TV.
White guy like me co-hosting a black radio show. I think toxic relationships cause you to take poorer care of yourself. That if you can recognize danger, if you can pause, if you can take some breaths, refocus, and engage, you might be able to dodge a bullet that you're going to send or coming towards you. One of the things that men don't get is that often women need to vent first to clear their mind. So today's show, starting with Whitey Locks here. Why is there so? I know. Token white guys. It's tough thing. Yeah. Anyway, why is there so little black investment in media and entertainment? So here's my. He can throw me under the bus after this.
We will.
To invest in something means you have to believe in a future for you. And if you don't believe in a future for you, you think about immediate gratification. So if you can't project yourself into a future that you think will be any better, you grab what you can today, and you don't plan, you don't build, because you don't think it's going to have a rat's ass chance of changing your future anyway. And so I think the challenge is, how can you help blacks, or for that matter, other people who don't invest in their future, to believe that there's a future for them that will happen, that's realizable, that's not just some rhetoric or some other BS. And so how can you get them on the path towards something that they actually believe will happen, and it's worth delaying gratification to make it happen?
Wow. Today's topic, ownership. Why don't black people own any, what major media outlet besides Tidal do black people own?
I mean, I think that just has to be addressed, what we just heard. I don't mean any disrespect to his opinion, but
he said tear him up. Tear him up.
But when we look at the actual realities of what happened after the Telecom Act of '96, when we look at the realities of even what a friend of mine, Byron Allen's lawsuit represents right now, we have, I guess you could say, systems in place that keep blacks from owning media. We have to get honest about that. And then we have to start looking at those things that are supposed to be owned by blacks and ask whether they are, whether it be like Aspire, which is supposedly owned by Magic Johnson.
Bounce.
And then the last thing is differentiating between black targeted versus black owned. You know, because black targeted is Viacom, black owned is Byron Allen.
We got to go deeper.
Yeah.
And I'll jump into what he was saying. You know what I'm gonna say, Dr. Ghoulston? Actually, what you said actually matches what I say. You know, when I teach the students in the Black Wealth Bootcamp, I talk about how in any individual who doesn't have the ability to delay gratification is not going to invest, they're typically not going to be successful. Actually, you know, you might have heard this study, but it showed that even amongst 5-year-olds, when they figured out who could delay gratification and who couldn't, the kids who could delay gratification were more successful in every measure of life because they would think like investors. And so I think that what you said is actually true in a race-neutral context, right? Any person who can't delay gratification is not going to do well. Now, beyond that, I think in order to invest, you have to have something to invest, right? A lot of the ownership and the capital that exists in America it was passed down intergenerationally, right? These, Hollywood is run by certain people because of something somebody did 80, 90 years ago, right? And so for black people, because we were excluded from so much was stolen from us, programs from the government were put in place that gave ownership to whites that didn't give it to black people. We're sort of starting from ground zero. So it's kind of difficult to build in a generation where whites have been able to hold for 400 years. And I think that's an important part to add to the equation as well.
I want to talk about the infrastructure that Antonio mentioned earlier. You said there's certain things in place that's preventing black ownership.
Yeah. I had a chance to do a YouTube video. You can check it out, Tone Talks, on YouTube, my channel, or Boyce's channel. Boyce is a good friend. He put it up there as well with Byron Allen, who's definitely a billionaire. Some people are kind of in question about that, but I'll tell you right now, he's a billionaire. And what he actually brought a lawsuit about is the dynamic of getting a truly black-owned station on say Comcast, on AT&T, on any of these things, and the reality of how there's certain infrastructures in place to keep that from happening, and then also how blacks are used as cover, having minority stakes in certain companies, and then they're used as diversity, kind of, I guess you could say, tokenism, instead of actually 100% black-owned companies. And part of that goes back to Robert Johnson and BET and what we saw as far as like what happened when blacks owned their own voice and the kind of messages that came out.
Bobby and then Geoff.
I just want to quickly say there's a reason why it's so difficult for us to control the narrative, because of the inherent power in being able to dial in your message. And until we rise to the level of understanding with that, we're in trouble, simply because it's that important. What you have done with that show, that I could see it and other people see it, it elevated our consciousness. And we can't consistently do that because we have not, as a people, placed a premium on the value of controlling our narrative.
Wow. Bobby? Geoff?
Something I want to piggyback on that you said about I know Byron too, and black folks got to get out of wanting only to sell what other black folks want to buy. If you look at Byron Allen's catalog, bro,
it's not Black Target.
No.
It's some other.
It's some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
deep bass
yes,
fishing.
Exactly.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know Byron on
Yeah.
that.
Ain't no niggas putting cornmeal on bass. Now, what my eventual plan is personally is to write and produce and get made movies that have absolutely no black people in them. Maybe one or two, like them old funky ass John Cusack movies where they're running toward the airport at the end to catch the girl. Those little girl got those movies, but everybody behind the camera is black. Everybody's black. The money comes back to the hood. That's the get down. It's just a little harder because, like right now, we can't go and put up a Korean barbecue. You can put one up, but ain't no Koreans coming.
No, ain't no Koreans coming to a black-owned Korean barbecue joint.
And I really want people to look into the statute that Byron's using to sue to bring the lawsuit against Charter and the FCC. Which is essentially, I believe, Section 1891, which goes back to slavery. I mean, so often, and I do respect the race-neutral position of Dr. Ghoulston, right? And but as far as looking at it in a historical and actual reality-based context, since we got here, there have been attempts to make not only our bodies but everything we owned not ours, from sharecropping to peonage to present-day mass incarceration.
Wait. Define peonage for the listeners. I know what it is, but go deeper.
So a lot of people think that slavery just ended when Lincoln said, "Let the slaves be free," and in actuality, he didn't have any enforcement teeth to that. That didn't happen until 1940s, where actually the FBI would investigate. So for almost 40 years after slavery, what you had is a sense of quasi-slavery, which actually maybe have been worse, where they were stealing black boys, putting them in mines, taking black prisoners that had done low-level crimes and killing them in steel mines. or having to do work that killed them in steel mines. And that peonage actually created slavery's like lengthening into the mid 19th century. I mean, mid 20th century. I'm sorry.
Wow. You know, and I think what we got to avoid is this idea that somehow our ancestors were lazier than other people, that they had less desire, to build for their children than other people did. They did have a desire to build, and I think one of the challenges that we have is that history really hasn't been told the way it should be. For example, there's one story that a lot of people don't know about a black man who had hundreds of acres of land, and he wanted to leave it to his children.
Antonio the slave.
Say it again?
Antonio the slave.
There you go. And he was
Antonio the slave.
He was.
You have to say it in a British accent.
He was. Well, I'll tell you the story, and maybe Antonio can jump in on it. But I'll tell you, he wanted to leave it to his kids. They found oil on the land, so a lot of the white men in the county wanted to own their land, and he refused to sell it. So he went to an attorney, had some paperwork drawn up to make sure it was deeded to his children. And so some white men came to his property, and long story short, they shot him 3 times in front of his son, and they cut his tongue out and told his son, "You tell the other niggers that this is what's going to happen to you if you go talking to lawyers." So the family was run out of town. The land was taken. And what I argue is that this land still exists. Somebody owns this land. Why aren't reparations being paid to families that have gone through this kind of thing? That's the question, and that's what really tells you how America still thinks to this day.
And what I would tell everybody to watch, I mean, this is just monumental stuff. It's Slavery by Another Name, narrated by Lawrence Fishburne. It's free on YouTube, and it really just lays out peonage. What's the name of it? Slavery by Another Name, and it really just lays out peonage and like what exactly like happened, and what people don't even know. Like as an example is between like almost like 1900 and 1965, only one white man was convicted for the murder of a black man.
Wow.
And let me tell you what he did. What he did is the
That
FBI,
sounds like police brutality.
The FBI came to investigate, like basically them still having slaves in the 40s, and when they got there, he told them to act like they're just working there. When they left the FBI, he just killed them all. That was the one conviction, and it's in that documentary, Slavery by Another Name.
Wow, Kevin?
Yeah. No, I just want to say how there is a concerted effort to keep melanated people from owning media. Like Bill Cosby. Like when he first wanted to buy NBC back in the day, then his son gets killed. And then now he wanted to do it again, buy NBC again. Now all of a sudden, 20,000 women. Yeah, he's a rapist, women coming out. So there's a concerted effort against that. And also, like, there's a Ron Brown.
Oh, you remember Ron Brown?
Ron Brown, he was the Secretary of Commerce. And Dick Gregory does a good job explaining this, of how Ron Brown wanted to bring black people to the table with a lot of billionaires. And they wasn't having that. And then shortly after, Ron Brown's plane goes down.
That plane go down.
I think it's important that we do celebrate the little small victories we have, because this brother sitting here and this brother sitting here have done things that tie into our success models. Because the documentary you're doing on Black Wall Street is so important for the simple reason Marcus Garvey once said, "What men have done, men can do." But you got to know about it.
You got to know about it.
And our people really, literally don't know that there was a time in this recent era, in the early 1900s, where we did everything that we have no connection to now in terms of ownership. I think that's very important to what you're doing.
So really quickly, we got a caller on the line. She wants to speak to Dr. Boyce Watkins. Her name is Cynthia. Cynthia, thank you for holding. Welcome to the Zoe What Morning Show.
Thank you. Hi, thank you, Zoe, for taking my call. Hi, Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm so grateful to hear from you and that you're in our community.
How
and
you doing,
all the other
sister?
panels, too.
I love you.
But,
Thank you for
I'm
calling.
so excited. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
Hello?
Yes,
we got you.
Hi,
I can hear you.
I hope you heard my introduction. I don't want to hold too much of your time.
Oh, no, please. I can hear you.
But, you just have no idea. The whole panel, Zoe, all you guys. Thank you so much. But what I have, my question is, I see so many of the community. I live that community where I saw a lot of the Asians come in and take those communities with loans, low interest loans and things like that. So I want to thank you for the Black Wealth Boot Camp, because I'm going to buy my first stock in the things that for my child. But what I wanted to say was, yesterday I went to the Glendale out here in California. They had the Armenian genocide. And the area that they have over there, it reminded me, I didn't even know about Black Wall Street. That's what you guys were, and I started learning about it when I started listening to you, Dr. Claude Anderson, and a couple of more. But I said, wow, when you go over there to that community, they have a whole community area over there that's just designed for their needs, and they do business with each other. So I'm just excited to just know that, you know, that I look at you as like the villager. You know how it takes a village to raise so many of us? And I was telling Zoe earlier how it was just, I hear it from my pastor, I hear it from my husband, do your own thing, do your own business. Then I hear it from you, and it's like I'm just excited that we have this forum that we can talk about with our brothers and our sisters to get back and mobilize and be back to the, you know, the Black Wall Street that we once were. And I just want to know your take on what areas do I target? You know, I tell my friends that we're going to be moving to this area, going here, going there. What are the good areas that we can target to start building, like I saw over in Glendale?
There we go.
You know.
Okay, well, first thing I'll say is that you know, in the role that I've been honored to play as a villager, if you will, I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without having, you know, other people who even get what I'm saying. You understand? So I really see this as a significant movement, and I really believe we're going to win this game. I really do. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be hard, but I think that the key is children. I think that if we raise 50 to 100,000 financially literate young black children in this generation, then that first 50,000 will employ the next 50 million. That's what I believe to the core of my heart. Now, in terms of specific areas, you know, I do believe in the value of if you're talking about where you physically live, I do believe in living around black folks. Obviously exercising, you know, common sense. If there's an area you're not comfortable in, you know, then you have to think about that. But I think overall, just getting out of this idea that somehow your progress is measured by getting away from the hood, getting away from black people. I think
it's not. I realize that.
There you go. That's an antiquated notion that we have to get rid of. And in fact, Dr. Claude Anderson in his book Black Labor, White Wealth talks about how when that black person, you know, assimilates and they move up in corporate America, they move away from black people, everybody loses. The masses lose because we lose role models, and that person loses because they're isolated and surrounded by people who don't think like them. So, you know, where you are physically, I think can make a difference, but I also think where you are demographically matters as well. Where I see the strongest Black Wall Streets being developed is not in a specific geographic area, but really in a demographic area. When you have sites like WeBuyBlack.com or like this show and the other platforms that are out here, you see literally millions of black dollars being channeled. Every year when Black Friday happens, you see millions of black people that are like, okay, I'm going to spend my money with black folks, just show me how. And I think that over time, as that momentum grows, you will see a wealth transfer of historic proportions. So I'm very optimistic about the future. I really am.
Cynthia, this is
Me
Zoe.
too. Thank you.
I want to thank you for calling in. We appreciate you so much.
You're
and
so welcome.
anytime you
Thank
feel
you.
the need, call us. Thank you so much.
I will. Thank you, doctor, and thank you, everybody, okay?
Bye-bye,
Appreciate it.
sister. Love you.
Before we go to break, I got to hit everybody with this question. Do we really appreciate Tyler Perry?
Are you asking now?
We're going to take a break. And when we come back, I want to hear about it. Should we have a Tyler Perry day? I'll be back at 2.2. The So What Morning Show. It's turned up.
You got me fucked up, nigga. What? Like we gon' keep spending money with you and you don't respect our lives.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
If the fish swam out of the ocean and grew legs and they started walking, and the apes climbed down from the
Hey geeks, wake up! We got big news. I'm not gonna mumble this time. Geekscape, the long-running movie, video game. Let me do one more. Hey geeks, we got big news! Geekscape, your favorite show about movies, video games, comics, and TV, is coming to T Radio V Monday, October 6th. And it'll be on every Monday from then on, 7 p.m. Until the apocalypse happens, we're all eaten by zombies.
Hi, I'm Bob Nalbandian, and be sure to watch my show Inside Metal, which airs live every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on T Radio V. I'm going to be bringing in the greatest heavy metal artists live right here in the studio. Once again, every week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Tuesday, right here at TRadioV.com, Radio in TV.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
That are occurring in America. For example, I was very disappointed when President Obama said that those young men in Baltimore were criminals and thugs. And that's when I had an epiphany about him. That's when I realized, oh, you really didn't grow up the way I grew up, and many other black people grew up. In 1968, when they killed Martin Luther King, I was in Detroit, Michigan, and I was in the middle of the street playing stickball. And within 5 minutes of killing him, the military was in my neighborhood, and I was looking down the barrel of the tank. I know what that's about. So if you look at those young men in Baltimore, you would never call them thugs and criminals because they've been positioned to fail. You didn't give them the right education. You didn't give them opportunity, mentorship, and jobs. You gave them every reason to fail. And then for you to say that criminals and thugs, I'm like, no, they're not. These are young men who want better, can do better, desire to do better, and you have failed them and haven't positioned them for success. Now, when those white bikers went through and shot up all those people and shot up that place, President Obama never called them a name. He never commented on them. And he never said anything about those white people that went through those neighborhoods doing that. And I'm just saying, dude, you got to be fair. You know, I honestly don't need you at black funerals singing Negro spirituals. I've got Al Green. I need you back at the White House putting pressure on banks to lend money to black people. That's what black people need. I need you putting pressure on corporations who do business with the government to make sure they're actually doing business with black people. That's what black people need. I need you at the White House putting pressure on really getting some education reform, doing something where we're really getting these kids properly educated and placed into colleges so they have a strong 4-year degree. I need you investing in the community and all people, especially black people, the only ones to have a law to shut us down. Laws to shut us down called Jim Crow.
Absolutely.
I need you there. I don't need you to sing. You know what you need to do, brother. You know what you need to do. I need you to take care of business. What's at stake here, President Obama, is your legacy. You have let black people down severely. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people will sing your praises and drink your black Jesus Kool-Aid all the way till the end of time. They can do that, but at the end of the day, their bank accounts aren't looking good. You know what to do. You are a really bright man. And if you are smart enough to deliver gay marriage, and I'm happy you did, and I'm thrilled you did, you are smart enough to deliver economic inclusion for all Americans, especially African Americans, and you deliver
Oh, my Lord.
Somebody ain't got a face no more. It got turned off.
Byron.
Hold that face.
Antonio.
There has never been a
Props to you,
gangster
man.
rap line uttered any harder than the shit you just heard.
Listen, and then let me tell you why this is important with regards to the with regards to the question we ask going to break. Economic inclusion is not going to happen with this system, the way this system is. I told people a long time ago, 2008, I said, in order to be a black man, to be considered as president of the United States, you got to be tied in with somebody.
Yeah.
You got to have a sponsor. This is like AA.
And a bloodline.
This is like AA. Somebody got to be your sponsor.
And a bloodline.
And typically those sponsors, the people who control the world, the top 1%, the oligarchy, they're not black.
No.
Right? You got to fit into a certain perspective of who they think you are, and they got to be safe and sure that you ain't going to flip on them. If there was even a subtle scent of Malcolm on Obama, they'd be like, oh, no, not you.
And they Malcolm sniffing daily.
We cannot use you.
And I agree, and I think that also people really got to be aware of Citizens United and how that even changed everything even after Obama, which is essentially they just brought it down to the like local level. Like, you know, you can donate what you want. These super PACs are just going crazy. So look up Citizens United on the internet and really just look at what Bernie's talking about when he's talking about you know, campaigns, finance just being out of control right now.
It's the Koch brothers behind
they
most
just won.
of that. I
They
know.
won.
But, you know,
But our answers are not coming from politicians
At
and
all.
lobbyists.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Your answers are only going to come through unification.
Well, it starts with accountability.
Recycling black dollars and unifying. The reason why we don't unify is because we don't value each other. We need an entirely different value system.
I agree.
Our
This
map
is-
was destroyed.
This is my thing. You know, I'm going back to the caller earlier, going down to Armenian communities, which I work over there at the Glendale Courthouse all the time. We got to realize who we are first. We are a race, not an ethnicity. That means we don't have a language or a
Say more.
homeland.
Come with that. Let's go.
So fundamentally, what happens is that as a race, we ask ourselves questions that are answered based on our race. Black is a race, white is a race. Being Armenian, being Mexican, being Asian of different sorts is all ethnicities. So what happens is, as a result of not understanding that, we don't understand why we're confused. The reason why we're confused is because we were designed. I'm talking about African Americans, not Kenyan Americans right now. We were designed to be confused. Now, once you understand that, you can start unbundling that and look at things like, when you look at land ownership, go to inequality.org and look at my piece on land. At the turn of the century, we owned 15 million acres. Today, we own 4 million acres. White people today, private lands own 98% of the land, worth 98% of the money. This is on inequality.org. I wrote about it. Today, we own, I think it's about like 2% of the land. We own less land than we did after slavery.
Rita G has something to say, then Kev.
I have a question. Isn't that why we would never be able to get reparations, because we don't have a land, a homeland, ethnicity?
Well, I believe it starts with our just total idea that we aren't as worse off as we are. So because we don't understand the structural dynamic of where we at, and then also how reparations have been given out to other groups. Like the Jewish people received reparations from Germans in some sort. But they first said, give me back my stuff. We come from a place where our bodies aren't our own. So when you don't even think your body is your own, land is like, you know, we were equivalent to a cow. We were chattel slaves.
Cow, pig, chicken, nigger.
Not regular slaves like in Egypt. We were chattel slaves, like a hoe or a pig or a cow.
Wow.
Well, everything is actually chattel slavery. Chattel only means movable property. So, you know, being that, you know, for as far as reparations and all of that, being from this landmass, or most melanated people are actually from this landmass. So, you know, as far as the reparations for being taken, as far as slavery and all of that stuff, that's the big bullshit. They want to get you to thinking that you're not from this landmass, because that takes away your rights from this landmass. Most people were already here. There are only about 500,000 slaves who were actually brought to North America. Most of the melanated people were already here as far as Aboriginal Americans. That's the actual term that we had. But until we're able to come back and claim that status, we won't get shit.
Geoff?
Okay. This is not a rhetorical question. So what you're telling me is that over a 400-year period, only 500,000 people were brought here.
Most of the melanated people were already here.
Okay. You said yes. So those slave ships were not. The millions of people were, and I understand there were more people brought to Brazil. Right. There were more people brought to South America.
Right.
So only 500,000, 500,000, like Atlanta and Chicago.
Here we go. Stop.
Just them niggas right there.
Yes,
that's the number.
Those are Native American people.
Yeah.
Bobby, then Doc, then Rita G.
Just want to spend a minute talking about the anecdote. and it starts with accountability. What we just watched on television is brave and bold and absolutely necessary because we keep thinking we can do this in isolation and anonymously, but that brother, thanks to Antonio, was able to project to a worldwide audience something that we all talk about, you know, in our own little old compartments, but nobody wants to admit that we got to hold each other accountable. We have to do that.
Say more.
We have to do that because if we don't, then the excuses kick in. In other words, all of us, especially my generation, we cried crocodile tears when Obama got selected.
Oh, my God.
Because, you know, it meant so much to us, and then we stopped asking the right question. Have we yet to have a black president? Because when we ask that question, they say, well, he got to be the president for everybody. Well, that should include us, and that means that we have to hold him accountable. When he talked about all of the things that happened on his watch, the stock market is at an all-time high. There's more money flowing around this country right now. It's unprecedented. But it doesn't include us because we did not demand that out of each other.
Right. Dr. G?
Do you think part of the increasing anger in the black community is that Obama represents a bait and ditch?
Absolutely.
Meaning he got elected, but he ditched the black community. And so, and it was almost like throwing a bone to the black community. Hey, I'm your black president, but he's done very little to help. And that's outrageous. It's kind of like you threw us something that wasn't even sincere.
Well,
Jeff, and then Antonio.
Here's the two things. He didn't run on, hey, I'm everybody's president. He didn't run.
He ran on Al Green.
Yeah, he ran on. He put the dirty 4-letter word hope under his name and let black people do the rest. And they didn't ask for shit. They didn't get shit because they didn't say, look, if you want this vote, pimp, you're going to have to go like everybody else. People keep thinking that politics is anything other than a shit hill. And in order to climb to the top, you got some shit on you. You're going to get shitty. And nobody, thank you. And none of us, we didn't ask for shit. So he didn't have to give us shit.
And I would say this, and I have these conversations with Vet Carnell a lot. We got to be honest about him being Kenyan versus being African American.
Thank you.
How about it? Descendants of slavery.
How about it?
And I think that what's happened as a result is he approaches it from, again, like I said before, an ethnic approach of America being a great place. Now, fundamentally, I think America has good parts, but when you come from a descendancy of slavery, it totally changes the dynamic of how your family was affected. But as to more focused realities, I think a lot of times black America comes up with excuses when they don't know the facts. And talking to Byron, he kind of laid out the facts. Go Army and Go Navy has a $2 billion budget. You know how much went to Ebony and Essence?
How much?
Several thousand.
Wow.
That's how. So when you're a black business like Boyce Watkins or like Breaking Brown, what you used to be able to do is you used to be able to know that you, before affirmative action, is go to Go Army, Go Navy, and you get a base. Because the reason why black people are employed in the public sector is because the private sector is horribly racist.
Wow.
And so, like, when you don't have that base of government support, it basically makes it so you struggle to exist independently.
Wow. Boyce?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that black people, as forgiving as we are, we would have been okay with Obama, you know, acknowledging that he's everybody's president.
Thank you.
The problem was that he was everybody else's president all the time. You know, it's like he was never our president. There was never a time, other than when he's singing and dancing and all this other stuff, there was never a time where he just said, okay, well, I'm going to give you a little bit of time too. You know, and I think that that's where the resentment came from. And I'll tell you what was frustrating for me was, because at the time Obama was elected, I was sitting right next to Al Sharpton a lot. And I was excited for this brother. I endorsed him before black people would support him. There was, you know, because before they were all supporting Hillary. It wasn't until he showed that he could defeat her that they came on board. And even before then, I said, you know, I think this guy really has something. And even I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong. You know, nobody can beat Hillary Clinton. And so I was so hurt to, you know, when I really saw behind the scenes how Negroes were being lined up to defend his interests over the black community, how black leadership was deliberately divided so that they could conquer us. There was a reason why Al Sharpton practically lived in the White House and Jesse Jackson was never invited. You know, you had Cornel West, same thing. You know, and so or when you have economic meetings and you invite Al Sharpton and Ben Jealous and Mark Morial to the White House 20 times, but you never invite people who actually understand how to create jobs in the black community. That's not a serious conversation. You know, in those meetings, you should have Julianne Malveaux with a PhD in economics from from MIT. You should have Dr. Claude Anderson, author of Powernomics. You should have Byron Allen there, who knows how to create jobs.
Has to be.
But Claude, these people could probably tell the president enough in 10 minutes for him to completely transform the employment situation of the black community. And then to add insult to injury, you get to this bullshit meeting where he's bringing Nicki Minaj and Rick Ross and the rappers to the White House to talk about incarceration. Are you serious? Michelle Alexander, you ever heard that name? Author of the New Jim Crow? Seriously, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go. I'm just, it's infuriating because what he's saying to black people is, y'all are a bunch of retarded ass niggas, and I'm not gonna respect you because you're gonna vote for me without asking me for anything. And that's what we're getting from the president. And I didn't mean to go there, but it's infuriating. We should all be angry about
already
this.
there.
Rita G. Wait, Rita G. Then you, Doc. Go ahead.
I was just repeating something that Dick Gregory was saying recently, that our generation feels like doing our part in the struggle and activism is putting a post on Facebook to say,
hashtag
right,
activism.
and,
Hashtag activism. There it is.
and it's from the comfort of home as opposed to just talk less, do more.
Armchair quarterback
How
in the
about
struggle.
it? Dr. G.
There's a saying, hope is not a strategy. And
Wow.
And why is it that we're all, and one of the reasons I think black and white are seduced by rhetoric is because it doesn't require thinking, and a lot of people hate to think. And yet with everybody's running for office, where they all fall down and they try to trump each other, is how are you going to get this thing done? What's your evidence that it'll even work? And then what happens is we give them a pass because they give us a pass because there's no honor amongst non-thinkers.
Ugh, there's no honor amongst dumb people. Go ahead.
Just a quick note. You can't lead people if you can't feed people. Van Jones was working in the White House. He wrote a book called The Green Economy that could have affected tremendous economic change in our communities, and at the same time did a lot for the environment. And he got to a point where he could no longer sit in the White House because of some things that he did that showed his consciousness, so they had to get him out of there. You can't have a meeting and talk about incarceration without Jim Brown, because he's been doing the work for 30 years and got no support after having supported Obama in Ohio in that second term. And finally, there's a brother named Wendell Stimley who is a builder of incredible magnitude. So when we're talking about people who need to be at the table, those are the type of people that already bring work and a body of work with them. And that's why we have a right to be upset, because Hillary is running around with hot sauce right now and playing dominoes, and she's going to get 98% of the black vote, because we still ain't got over that sickness. Man.
Antonio?
So, when we start talking about Obama being everybody's president and why he can't address black issues, we have to be honest that black issues require more than a little bit of attention. Right now, today, there's about 14 million black homes. 40 million blacks live in those homes. It's like 3.2 people per home. Top 5%, all you got to have is 350 in hard assets. Top 5%, and those are mostly older people, going back to your point. The middle black home today, when you take out the family car, is worth $1,700.
Damn.
Yeah.
How much is the middle median white family?
Oh, you want to switch? There's 80 million white homes. There's 80 million white homes, about 170 million whites. So that's 2 people per home already winning.
Already.
And so
it's less crowded.
Yeah, and so the average worth, the middle worth is like 116, 117, regardless of education nationally.
Regardless of education.
Ain't no NIM.
And we can talk about LA later on.
Ain't no NIM in that number.
But let me just say the last point. My only point is to say we have to understand the gravity of how much wealth is in white hands and how little wealth is in black hands and why that exists. Diagnose the problem. If you got 4-stage cancer, you got to diagnose that first. You can't just say I got cancer.
Right. Real quick.
Good point.
I just want to say that I think you guys are going in too hard on Obama. The reason for him being there, there's one main reason for him being there.
Speak on it.
He's put there by the money masters. When he first got elected, the main dude was what's the governor now of or the mayor of Chicago?
Rahm.
Yeah, Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve guy.
You know his brother is.
So you know what I'm saying? That's why he's there. His main goal is to bring about a one world order. That's his main goal. Now anything else on the side of that, it's chips.
Take us to break with your point.
My point is, which I was gonna say for the rant, but I'll say it here.
No. I want you to go off in the rant.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, don't give it up early.
Okay. Well then, when we come back,
pre-rant ejaculation.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
When we come back, I'm probably gonna say some, as I usually do. Some I'm gonna. It's gonna be monkeys throwing shit.
That's what it is.
We'll be back in 2 minutes.
There it is.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
In chapter 10, we talk about the difference between being embittered, embattled, or embittered. So, if you're embittered, of course you're holding on to things. You're resentful. You're resistant. If you're embattled, you're fighting. No, I don't accept that. I don't want that. But if you're open and you're allowing the process to unfold and flower within you and beyond you, you have an opportunity to become embittered. And chapter 10 goes into detail on how to stop being embittered, how to stop looking for the win by being embattled, and how to evolve and expand to a space of embitterment. I mean, it's an incredible work, man, and I'm excited about it.
I'm Laura Samoza.
I'm Sterling Gardner.
And we are Between the Sheets every Monday here, 3 p.m., tradiov.com.
T Radio V.
That's right. It's T Radio V, radio in TV. What is that face?
He wants to see our hands.
That's radio in TV. Wah, 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 wah.
We're not a couple.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
I went to an Indian blessing of a child this weekend with some of my wife's friends, and I walked in. There was a ton of stuff going on. Take your shoes off, women over here, men over there. Nothing in the English language. In a building that was eloquent and fantastic on the inside, nondescript on the outside. My point, there is a bunch of shit about being other races that if you ain't that race, you don't know, because it ain't your business. Black people have no secrets because we put all of our shortcomings to dance music and are so happy when anybody white wants to come. To me, the equivalent of being thrilled when white people do what you do is the equivalent of being thrilled when a white man who lives next door asks to fuck your wife. With regard to reparations, mine is bootleg software. My reparations bootleg software. I get all my attention. All my ones and zeros are stolen. Why? Because y'all ain't gave me the other shit I'm supposed to have. With regard to coming to the table, us coming to the table and bringing things to the table, I'm going to have to say fuck the table. Okay? None of our answers, in my opinion, have anything to do with politics or gifts or handouts or hand-me-downs from any other people than us. We have been given plenty of opportunities as a community that we've taken a good hot shit on. Example, when the Clipper thing went down, when your boy, what was your boy's name that owned the Clippers?
Sterling.
Sterling. When Donald Sterling came out with what he said, black people missed a grand opportunity again to say, no, please, please let that man keep the Clippers. What we are going to do as a people is for 30 days, we're going to watch every Clipper game for the commercials. And every commercial that comes on, we won't be driving Chevys. We won't be eating Raisin Bran. We won't be buying this type of furniture. Not until something happens. We are going to choke you to death. For the next 100 years or 6 generations, nobody black or sympathetic to our cause will play for or against the Clippers. We will not acknowledge you as an entity. Until, and again, that kind of get down is not going to happen with black people until the dollar collapses. Black people have too many things that we separate ourselves by, and the chief one is money. The niggas can't wait to move away from one another once they get some money. Niggas can't wait to brag. I'm the only nigga on the block. Do you not understand that these people hate you? Do you not understand that even if they don't hate you, they are operating in a system that was set up when you were not even considered a human being? My last point, it's very, very simple. Our power is in, it's in our flesh. It's in our melanin. We got to stop giving shit away. Just stop giving your, quit. You got enough already. We got enough shit already. Just use the shit we have.
Man,
I love it.
Right on.
Hey, I love it. Let me just say this. When we going to give up on trying to be a movie star and just shine? We can shine without them acknowledging us. When you see Friends, a television show.
You mean Living Single?
With 7 white people. No, just 7 white people in New York. And you don't see one black person? Even Living Single had white people on it.
No. Living Single was, here's the story. Queen Latifah was 2 episodes from syndication.
Mm-hmm.
They cut that and took the paradigm and made Friends.
But see, the point that I'm making is they tell their stories from their perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
Their perspective doesn't include you.
No.
Star Wars had 4 niggas in it.
Yep.
In 7 films. It was 4 black people in it.
I love
And
Billy D, though.
Billy D was the coldest. Lando Calrissian. And he was hollering at Princess Leia like, hey, what's happening?
Right.
Like a little mulatto up in the clouds.
You ain't never been tapped out, have you?
But see, that's my point. We got spot places in their world.
Yeah.
But we will fight, kill, cut, and stab our own to get that one spot they have available.
Oh, niggas don't want nothing unless white folks had it already.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make. Even in the Living Single television show, there were white people in that show.
Oh, of course.
Even in Martin's show, there were white people in that show that had a prominent role in the show. What prominent role did a black character have on Friends?
I don't see why he should, if I may say. I don't think we should.
The point I'm trying to make to black people is, instead of fighting for that one spot that you may have a cameo in, technology has dictated to the point now where you can create your own content.
Come on, bro.
You can distribute your own content. What about the story that was Sean Robinson, the sister, Sean Robinson, who told about Prince? She called Prince and asked Prince to do something for her, and the first thing he said was, do you own it? And she said, no. He said, well, I can't help you then. When you start, whatever you're working on, if you own it, I will back it. But if you don't own it, I ain't gonna back it.
And what's funny about that is I know we brought up Byron Allen quite a few times, but there's a reason behind it. I mean, everybody has to understand, when you watch a court show, you're probably watching Byron Allen's money. And so what his motto is, and the reason why they don't want to deal with him is is unlike using Shonda Rhimes, using a lot of these people. They make the show for the network. What he does is he says, "Don't pay me to make the show. I'm gonna make the court TV show. It might not be the highest production value, but I'm gonna make the show. You don't have no risk. Just split the ad money with me." They're not trying to hear that. You can look it up on IndieWire if you don't believe that he doesn't.
It's all about best practices. A lot of people have forgotten about people like H.G. Gaston, John Johnson. And the reason that's important is we don't have to continue to start all over again. Let's just look at wherever we find that level of success where it's irrefutable. Mr. Leon Gar, he's 102 years old. This man built an empire right here in Los Angeles, and he did it with black folks. He worked with black people, and he didn't have the education. He sent people to school to get that. But what we have to do is just look around the country and find where are the best practices of us going to war every day and coming out successful. What you guys have accomplished is an example of that, and we just have to multiply that. We spend too much time worrying about slavery and all of that. It's very relevant.
No.
Let me finish. Let me say my point. I'm going to be very quick. When I say worrying about it, we spend more time talking about that than we do building on best practices. And I think it's important that we do that.
I think the one thing that we have to understand as black people, and this is especially true for black men, because so much of your manhood and your masculinity is predicated on your ability to provide and protect the people that you love. I mean, that's what makes women feel safe with you. That's what makes your community proud of you, and that's what makes your children look up to you. We have to understand that we are in the midst of global economic warfare. We are in a world that is competitive. The problem with some of the ideology that we've been given is that we somehow think that equality is going to kind of be given to us. That somebody's going to, that because we deserve it, because it's the right thing to do, somebody's going to hook us up and take care of us. And that shows a lack of understanding of how the world operates when you're competing for scarce resources. It's like going into a football game and thinking the other team's going to clap when you score a touchdown. They ain't going to clap. Right? They're going to try to break your legs, And so ultimately, one of the things that we created that I was actually most proud of more than anything was we created something called a Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, where and the reason I set that up was because I figured out a big part of the solution is we have to really dig deep into the dirt and really reconstruct the thinking of our children at an early age. We have to, first of all, reclaim the minds of our children. We're handing our kids away to a white educational system that destroys them more than it builds them up. That has to stop. Number two, education should connect to the idea of being able to create your own job as opposed to thinking that a job is something somebody gives you.
How about it?
Right? So if every black child in America grows up knowing that they have an option for a plan B to create their own job, then what's going to happen is you're actually taking scenarios where one successful Negro is not a big deal. It's really when you can multiply that success. So, for example, if I go get a good job and I go live in the suburbs, I'm working for the big white corporation, I'm doing well, good for me. But if I have a mindset that says, okay, now I need to go back to my community and build something structural that can help employ dozens of people, then what I've done is I've taken my success and I've multiplied it. That's where the mindset needs to think. So bottom line is stop congratulating people because they got a good job. Congratulate them when they start a business. That's where the culture needs to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. G. You surrounded by angry black people.
Yeah.
What has
How can I circle the wagons when I'm circled by them?
Your Jewish ass better have something good to say right now.
To say, Whitey.
No, but I want to build on what Boyce said and what Bobby about the best practices. You gotta find some ways to build on stuff and as opposed to just ranting. I mean, ranting wake people up, but it's not going to get anywhere. And I think that's right. How do we get young black minds to go into the community, create value that employs other blacks, and how do you give them that value orientation? How do you make them proud and satisfied to do that, as opposed to being looky-loos at what all the other races are doing?
Little problem with that.
Yeah.
Something that, and I always get flack for bringing this up, but something we all seem to miss here is that everyone before my generation realized the concept of sacrificing a generation. Dr. King knew good and hell well he wasn't going to see none of what he was talking about. He knew it. He knew I'm talking about some radical shit. These white folks ain't shit. I know they ain't. I'm not going to see it. black people as a whole only want to fuck with shit that they're going to see. We have to be willing, in the words of Minister Farrakhan, some of us are going to have to fall on the swords. Some of us are going to have to actually die. These white folk are not, no offense, Doc, not you. When the revolution comes, just call me. I got you.
Have a little white safe house.
Yeah, a little white safe house. You're not going to eat as well as us, but you'll be taken care of. Okay.
You got a panic room for me?
I got a little panic room. No, yeah. That's crazy. We have to sacrifice. It is not about me. Very, very few black people I meet, in the words of Damon Dash, hustle for their last name.
How about
they
it?
hustle for their first name.
You know, that's Boyce Watkins.
Get that mic, man.
So, you know, when I did this piece on inequality.org, I had this section from Thomas Piketty. He's this author, powerful, of this new piece, Capital in the 21st Century. If you haven't followed it, it's just really shaking up the world. But what he said is he recently observed that the level of inequality in the U.S. for those who work for a living is probably higher than in any other society at any time in the past, anywhere in the world. So what I'm going to say to you is that I'm going to contrast with what Zoe said earlier about technology and actually bring this article that came up on Quartz yesterday. And what they showed is that the difference between working with Airbnb and working with Uber is that Airbnb is something that white people are doing because they're using their capital and actually making extra money. Uber is for people that are poor, that don't have a job.
Damn.
And so I guess the reason why I'm bringing all of that up is to say that black people have to work with white people. White people choose to work with black people. Fundamentally, we have to understand that there's 80 million white homes, and I just told you what the black numbers were. Of the 80 million white homes, 24 million have more than 300,000. Of that, 10%, 8 million, have more than $1.4 million hard assets.
Yeah.
So what that means is that I can be white and just live next to other people who have $1.4 million that are white just like me.
And niggas is just hard asses.
Yeah.
While white people got hard assets, niggas are hard asses.
Right.
Right.
Of white people in America, 75% of white people in America own their home, whereas opposed to 42% of black people own their homes in America. That's the lowest.
I'll jump in and make one quick one-sentence statement. I never felt like I had to work with white people. I just knew that working with my own would end up making me less money, and I was okay with that. You understand? See, so sometimes it's our greed. that
Damn
makes
it,
us
that's that generation sacrifice I'm talking about, bro.
Right. I don't work with white people. I don't meet with white men that often. It's not because I hate them. It's just because I don't want to be around people who want to disrespect me. And so I know that I might be making, say, a few 100,000 as opposed to a few million, but I just don't give a fuck. I'm happy with what I have, and I don't need to go across town to get what me and my family need. Period.
But you know what he's talking about? Let's go back. Tell me capitulation to white power structure isn't taught at home.
Oh yeah.
See, listen.
What's
My son is down at Auburn. He my son. So you already know he rubbing niggas the wrong way.
The young lion.
You already know. I done had coaches come back and say, he's too militant. I said, is militant asking questions, or is he walking around campus with an AK-47?
Yeah.
Which kind of militant are you talking about? If he questions you, are you labeling that as argumentative or combative? Because he's intelligent. I taught him as a boy, intelligence is predicated on really good questions. Always ask questions, boy. If you don't understand, ask. The word is already coming back. He's militant. Let me finish this.
Is he Nat Turner militant?
No, let me
or Malcolm X militant?
Let me just say this. The word I got when this boy had 50 offers and we chose Auburn was, now you know them white folk down there different. You know they're not going to be able to handle an intelligent, articulate, aggressive Inglewood kid.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the advice was capitulation.
Was curve the spine that you made straight.
Was capitulation. Don't. And this is what I took it. I said, listen here. You know this system, boy. You've seen it with your dad. You've seen it with other people. You know how this system is. I said, I'm going to tell you right now. Shut your mouth until you have something to stand on. I said, when you build a platform, then you can yell and can't nobody take that platform. I said, but if they see you coming, I took this advice from, what's the movie, Devil's Advocate. When Al Pacino told Keanu Reeves, he said, the problem with you is they see you coming. And I told my son, I said, they see you coming. They already know me. They hear me on the radio. They already know I'm doing it, so they looking, they waiting for you to say something that's reminiscent of where you come from. I said, what you do is you get great, you get resources, you build your platform, then.
But hold up. So, but now, after Robert Johnson, can you say that about the whole black race in media? They see you coming.
They see you coming.
Well,
they see you coming.
After BET.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the concept of any business model. Start a business, work hard at it, and sell it for more money. That is not a successful black business model.
You're right. You're right.
Because what happens? Look at Carl Kanai. They gave Carl Kanai double what his business was worth, and then 18 months later, all that shit was in Marshalls. Okay, we're not buying. It's almost like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I bought the red car so that I could dismantle it. When we cannot follow, Dr. Watkins' paradigm was closer. Look, I'm gonna make less money, but I'm willing to not fuck with you.
Yeah.
Black people have to be willing, and most of us are not, because most of our success is predicated on shit white folks want.
But we still need
you know what, Jeff?
operational money.
You know what, Jeff? Let me just say, man, I'm proud of the young lion because he refuses to capitulate.
My man.
Y'all know him. Y'all know
Yeah.
him.
Well,
he refuses. He's like, Dad.
I watched you make his spine straight, bro.
The dude told me, he said, Dad, I can't follow somebody that's weak. He said, the dude is weak. And he wasn't talking about a coach. He was talking about a player. He said, Dad, I can't follow weakness. I just can't do it. And then he got blamed for the chemistry on the team. Bobby, go.
Well, there's so many wonderful examples of people who live by their beliefs and their convictions. Marshawn Lynch just finished his illustrious football career, and while nobody was paying attention, that brother did not spend a dime of the money that he made playing football. Not one dime. And he has bought his freedom back to do whatever he wants to do with the rest of his life because he took care of his money. Instead, they'll show you the cats who blew it off. We just found out the other day through Van Jones the wonderful thing that Prince did, because we're so worried about the glitz and the glamour, we're not looking at the folks who take care of their money. That boy that played Kawhi Leonard, he drives an old car. He's collecting his money, and he's connected to his family.
Jamal Ashburn.
Let me say this to you, though. And this comes back to, again, something that came out in the conversation with Alan, is like, that's individual level money. We just found out like 3 days ago that in Oakland, I think for the last year, they only gave 4 bank loans to black people.
Wow.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, it was an article just came out like 2 days ago. What I'm saying is, like, on a systemic level, bank loans are not being given to our businesses, let alone our individuals for homes and things of the sort. And that's kind of the problem.
No, that's a problem with a different solution.
We don't have enough black banks.
That's a problem with a different solution. We ain't doing the right shit with the dope man's money.
Oh, Jesus. Listen, we got to take a quick break. Geoff Brown in the building from the free throw line. We'll be back at 2.2. It's going down.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
T Radio V. What did you play opposite Andy, Eric? Do you remember?
Andy and I worked as 2 employees at a network.
Okay. Oh, you're forgetting the other thing.
I played a news anchor, and he played a reporter.
Okay, but the other thing you did, the thing you did on the Andy Dick show, who did you play to Andy?
Oh, is that I play my sister?
You played his wife, Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played his wife.
Yeah.
You
So
guys
what's wrong
have
with that, Elijah?
Nothing's wrong with it.
He's
It
got a
just-
great range as an actor.
Yeah, it just was funny.
Encounters with Eric and Eliza Roberts, Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. on T Radio V.
Hi, I'm Plastic Martyr, and I've got a new show called Just Like You on T Radio V. It's an inside look into my Hollywood life where I give you a sneak peek into a world of beauty, fashion, and fame. Illusions will be shattered. And of course, there's a little sex, hugs, and rock and roll. Be sure to check it out Wednesdays at 11, only on T Radio V.
Hello, T Radio V.
Hello for us.
Hi, guys. My name is Steve Ranazizi.
My name is Mary Elizabeth Ellis.
My name is Katie Aselton.
You're watching TV on the radio, but you're not watching it, you're listening to it, because radio on TV.
Hi, T Radio V.
Keep that radio going inside that television set.
I love T Radio V. Trust her.
T Radio V. Radio in TV.
Radio in TV.
Hi kids, Billy and Francesca here for my brand new show at T Radio V, Advice from an Idiot, every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. So please call in and get some advice from someone who knows absolutely nothing about everything.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
You mentioned President Nixon there. I was reading a piece that Norman Mailer wrote about you recently, where he described you as the second most prominent American, second most prominent after Nixon. We might dispute that. But would you like to be president?
No.
No?
No, sir. Too dangerous. Like, in other words, here's a ship. People are dancing on the ship. A lot of money's on the ship. A lot of food's on the ship. And I cannot integrate on the ship. I cannot have equality on the ship. I'm just in the galley working. And I never could get up and see the captain of the ship. Now, all of a sudden, the man tells me, say, come on down. I'll leave out of the galley. I want you to come up here and here, have something to drink. What do you want? And giving me number one spot. From the galley to the number one spot. I said, this ship must be sinking. Why is he so nice to me now? What moved him to call me up here? Black men have been males now. One might be the president. America's in too much trouble. I don't want that job now. Something to think about, ain't it?
Dr. G?
How ironic.
Let me do a role play as a white guy.
Could you do a role play as anything else?
No, apparently not.
Okay.
But so I'm thinking, okay, so let's say I'm a bank, and you want me to invest money, and I'm thinking, okay, so what I need to be able to do is trust you and have confidence in you.
No.
Now let me finish. Then you can jump in. And so, how do I trust you? How do I? Someone recently told me, the way you know the real person is when you see what they spend their money on when they're angry and when they're drunk. That's when you really know a person. And so when I see people, and what you're saying is we don't spend it the right way and we're angry. So I'm Whitey Locks here, and so there's a certain part of me that says, okay, I'm not trusting because I'm afraid of that. And then the confidence is, what have you already done? What's your track record? Not what you can do, but what have you already done that has succeeded? So I'm just saying these may operate unconsciously. I'm not doing it consciously, or I'm not doing it maliciously, but if these are some of the things that are floating in the ether in terms of whether I should give you money or not, you know, that may be part of what you're dealing with.
I just want to quickly address the vulgarity of that question. With regard to why should I give you money, actually, there's a word missing. Why should I give you money back? Okay, because the money, the wealth that is in this country, the wealth that the banks have, they didn't get it from nowhere. They got it from 400 and plus years of free slave labor. That is the head start that, I'm almost done, that is the head start that this country got financially. Now, why should you give me money? Because you should put me on the list of losers that every bank has. You should put me on the list of shit that you know you're going to write off already. It's a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of slush money running around that people. I was in West Angeles one night when Magic Johnson gave on New Year's Eve $1 million to the church. Do you think that, and shout out to Magic, you know I love you, but do you think that's about his benevolence and his desire to see the ushers with new uniforms? No, that's money he had to get rid of before January 1st. We need some of that kind of money.
Wow.
Well,
Bobby and then Antonio.
Trust has nothing to do with business transaction. It's either you have an opportunity to take money and make more money based on the net value of whatever it is you putting that money in. People do business all the time that they don't even know based on the fact that they have something that they believe is going to work, and they get their money back because it does work. It really ain't about trusting people. It's about equity and what makes money work for you.
Antonio?
So if we look at it from a perspective of what banks were and what they became after subprimes, what they were is they were small and they actually had money in an account and they were giving you money from that account. What they became after subprimes is basically a transition pace that took like collective garbage money and then funneled it out.
Yeah.
So let's look at them from that perspective. How do you access that money? Is the better question. And the way that I see it is like when you watch Shark Tank. Let me use that as an example.
Okay.
Everybody coming on Shark Tank got about $150,000 into their stuff.
Yeah.
When you watch it, but they damn near all white. And so, like, you know, a couple of them get honest with it. How did you get the 150? Oh, grandma gave it to me.
Right.
So your bigger question is, why should I give you money if your grandma ain't got no money to give you? Ooh. And so
I can loan money to transgenerational wealth. I can't loan it to no, like, it's almost like when you buy a franchise. Say you want a Subway or a McDonald's. Well, the Subway costs $100,000, but you're going to need an additional $400,000 to back that. So you got to come in with $500,000. I'm not just going to give you, like, if you walk in with $100,000 in nickels, here we go, I'm ready for my Subway. They're going to say no, that money ain't secured, because if that $100,000 go bad, you need another $300,000 to $500,000 to come back and really reestablish this business. That's the same idea that he's saying with black people. We don't have no transgenerational wealth. They're not willing to do no business with people that don't have a strong footing, a historical footing in financial success.
In the words of KRS-One, everybody, the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, came to this country and sold dope to the weaker people in their lineage, took that money and invested it.
That's really true.
Dope dealers are mismanaging the money. That's the problem. We got money. I ain't gonna say what his name is, but one of my boys that runs the jungle, shout out, dog, you know who I'm talking about, got garages full of $100 bills in garbage bags, and he doing it the right way, because if he walk up on you, he'll spit on you. You wouldn't know how much money he got. That is where we need to go back to. We need to stop walking in banks. Stop walking out, oh, how come we didn't get an Oscar? Stop fucking with white people. They not fucking with you.
Hold on. Wait. Dr. Boyce, come in. Because I have a point that I want to say that's just killing me right now.
Unghetto the shit I just said.
Right. Can you unghetto and say it in
It's de-ghettoized.
Well, you know what the brother's saying is, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you know, there is money in that space, and that money could be utilized in certain ways. But what I think we got to understand is that America has a special relationship and a special type of treatment for black people. Yep. You know, I think that the way Irish and other groups kind of are allowed to sort of erase that past and become legitimate, black people
become white.
Become white. Black people just, there's almost like a bullseye on our head, politically and otherwise, such that when you see dope dealers, for example, trying to build that infrastructure, all the feds got to do is change the law and do what they did to Mario Lloyd, a dope dealer in Chicago in the 80s. Didn't have any murders on his record or anything like that. Never caught him with the dope, but they got him on a RICO charge. And what they did was they took all of his money. You know, all the attorneys and judges were splitting the money up. Also, they gave him 14 life sentences with no parole. They also incarcerated on the RICO charge his sister, his brother, and his mother. They sent the whole family to prison. And so ultimately, I think that becomes the challenge in terms of what you're talking about. But you're right, though. When you have dope dealers, if you want to talk in that category, it's better when you talk about the freeway Ricks who understood the power of his wealth, as opposed to guys who want to go to the club and throw it up. Right now, one thing I'll say on that, the last point about going to the banks and begging white folks to give us the money, I think that we've realized, time and time again, that just really doesn't work. It does not mean that we don't continue to speak on this issue, though. It's almost like if you're trying to negotiate with your boss to get a raise, you keep pushing the issue. If you got to go on strike, whatever you got to do, get in his face, do that. But you also want to look for another job at the same time. You understand? Put your resume out there or build your own business, create options for yourself. So I think for us as a community, a good strategy will be this. Look, you're not, as a white politician, Bernie Sanders, Hillary, all those other assholes that are running for office, you're not going to get a phone call with me until you're ready to have a serious conversation about what the community needs in terms of reparations, in terms of access to capital. The reason most black businesses can't build, the reason black people can't get jobs is not just because white people won't hire us. It's because we can't get funding for the good businesses we have in our community. That's the solution. The solution for black unemployment is not to get more white people to hire us. I don't want better forms of slavery. I want to be able to build something. And until you're ready to have that conversation, don't call me.
Okay,
period.
Brother Boyce.
Now, the last point I'll make on that is solution oriented. In terms of raising money for black businesses, what I have found is that we have to be creative when it comes to raising money. For example, my homeboy Lamar Tyler runs blackandmarriedwithkids.com. About as positive and productive of a platform as you can. I mean, all they do is talk about black people getting married and having families and all this other stuff. He said a lot of white people won't do business with him because the word black is in his title. He said a lot of black people won't do business with him because of that. But I said, I'll do business with you. So what happens is we formed an economic family, me and him and a few other guys, Tariq Nasheed, I work with him, and just other people where we have the same mindset, right? And what happens is we form an economy where if one of them needs to raise money, they can come to me and I will give them a loan, or I can go to them, or we share audiences, things like that.
Right.
Or when Lamar wanted to raise money for his film, I think they needed maybe $20K to shoot a film called Generation One about black wealth. What he did was he went to his audience and he pre-sold the film, and he raised over $100,000 for this movie. So the movie was profitable before it was made. You understand? And to me, that's where like the black Hollywood's going to come from. It's not going to be as big as the white Hollywood. Not this generation. In 50 years, it'll be bigger.
Right.
But right now, we're building. We got to get in where we fit in, work with what we got, and we can't use those same tired old models of begging white folks because white folks are not answering the door.
Wow.
I want to say
Great
something
point.
also to the other point.
I love that.
I produced the documentary Cracking the System. You can go to crackingthesystem.com. It was on Al Jazeera last year. It was on Freeway Rick, the Iran-Contra. And the only thing I will say is that the models that were used like in the 50s or even in the early teens just don't work because the money is different. This is a traceable era. It's totally different in terms of being able to transition that way. And I think fundamentally where this answer really comes from a solution standpoint, and I agree with you, we got to do our own, is to really look at things like what Byron is doing, that demand Obama to audit these banks, to show how many loans are actually going out to African Americans, to Latinos, because what you're going to actually find is nearly nothing.
Wow. Wow.
It's a multiple platform approach, because what you're doing it's all about best practices, in my opinion, because it's going to take the government money that we're entitled to, but that's why we had to replace the leadership, because they're not doing what they need to do in terms of the legislative process and all those elements. So it's going to take a little of the under the table stuff, the very inventive way that you have supported other brothers, and what you brought. We need a little of all of it, but we got to do it on a consistent basis.
Kevin?
Yeah, one of the things I like to go back to is the show we had on organization. And when
we did a show on organization, for Christ's sake. Go ahead. Jesus.
Yeah,
for the love of Christ.
And being that, businesses and, organizations are the true people or the true sovereigns of the world, or the new coming world, you're going to have to form organizations like that. You're going to have to link up and form powerful organizations to be your face, because if you're trying to do anything individually, it's not going to happen, especially with that Trans-Pacific Partnership that they just did.
Oh, God.
Which is basically the new the world corporate government. Unless you get together with people and have a organizational face or some type of corporate face, you're going to be
done.
mashed out.
You're going to be done. This is good shit.
I think we're overlooking bartering.
No,
I think we are.
He just talked
he
about
just
it.
talked about it. Sharing audiences. I mean, he
Yeah.
just spoke on that. You know, he talked about how the new Black Hollywood may come out of that very system. You got a camera, I got lighting.
Let's go.
Let's go do this. You see what I'm saying? Let's produce this content.
But at the same time, I think what happened after like the 80s, like before like 83 in the Cosby Show, wasn't no black person thinking about millions of dollars. So like your goal,
Not really.
Your goal, you know, like it's funny because I've talked to a couple of people. Like Rick is an example. We went to the first place he saw what he was selling, and he said, "My first goal was just to live in my mama's back house. This is why we're shooting the dog." So like, I mean, I'm not saying that whether that should be your goal or not. I think what happened was we started living vicariously through celebrity, and we started to want millions of dollars, having never seen $10,000. And so, like, when you don't have your goals straight, you can always be confused.
Right.
Oh, great point.
Yeah, look at
Damn.
them. Look at them. They're lost. I burnt their map.
Listen, we got to take a quick break. But when I come back,
oh Lord,
so Williams' final thoughts.
Stand by for heavy roll.
Yeah, I got to sum it up. Here we go.
Motherfuckers, get ready.
Was a motherfucking game. My name is Nat Turner.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Relationship Dismount is a book that I created. It's a breakup and makeup book. But what's interesting about this particular book is I used gymnastics to come up with a concept based off of sticking the landing. Everybody knows that in a gymnast's routine, one of the most important and crucial to the success of that routine is how they end it, how they finish it. And I decided to come up with the concept of relationship dismount using this metaphor. Sticking the landing, how you end it is how you begin it moving forward. So we wanted to take that metaphor and really expound on it in the context of intimate relationships.
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. That's radio in TV.
Hi kids, Billy and Francesca here for my brand new show at T Radio V, Advice from an Idiot, every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. So please call in and get some advice from someone who knows absolutely nothing about everything.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Well, today was yet another prolonged discussion about a lot of shit a lot of us probably already know. Which leads me to my next statement. Blacks in America operate like an enormous ant colony without a monarch. Wow. This shit is frustrating. So much power. You know how strong an ant is? And you know how strong a colony of the motherfuckers are, right? They can move mountains, ants, but they need a monarch. And what should be the monarch? Should it be a person? No, for this ant colony, the monarch must be a set of ideas. Ideas that are scalable, flexible, that can grow over time, that could be transferred from generation to generation. Guess what kind of ideas we have in place now that keeps this ant colony from being as powerful as it was designed to be?
Lemonade.
Exactly. Ideas and concepts that we aren't the author of. Your idea and your concept of success, did you write it? No. But you aspire to achieve it. That's the hurtful shit. I'm going to be loved by massa if I have what massa said rich is supposed to look like, wealth is supposed to look like. If I accumulate that, I'm going to be good. And then I can get away from my community. And I can be a part of them. I can move over there with them. They don't want you. They never did. They never did. I'm sorry to tell you, they never did. Black people have to stop getting their self-esteem from white brands. Clothes, employment. A motherfucking black person to turn flips if they work for the Department of Child Support. The Department of Child Support. They'd be like, nigga, do you know where I work? Right? Or if they work for Disney. I remember back in the days when I worked at Loud Records and Warner Brothers and Madonna as an A&R. I recognized niggas had a sense of pride. Well, you know, my label. What you mean your label? You don't own that label, nigga. If you read your contract, you'd recognize you're a fucking slave. If you read your, can I say that again? If you read your contract says, I'm going to give you $300,000 for you to go make an album. I'm going to make sure all the money is provided for you to pay your bills. You're going to have a car, because I don't want your motherfucking artistic ass to worry about shit but making that record. And here's your due date. And when you turn in that fucking album, thank you for the album, I purchased it with a loan. You don't make a dime until I made every penny back, recoupment.
With interest.
But you running around this motherfucker talking about my label. My label take good care of me. Yes, sir. I bet you it does. And that's the same in every aspect. I got a TV show on VH1. Really? How are they exploiting you? Most niggas go in there and look at a contract as if exploitation isn't inherently written in it. They look at the contract as a savior. The contract might as well be the Messiah, because it's going to take you out of your life, and you don't mind the exploitation that's associated with it. You look at black people, which you're a part of, as defected. You look at black people with the same eyes as the system. The black dollar isn't worth the same amount as the white dollar. Let me say that again. The black dollar is not worth the same amount as white acknowledgement. You want an Oscar. Fucking Oscar. You don't want to create your own awards. You don't want to create your own content. You don't want to take less money and get it from your people by creating content that fits us, that relates to us, that tells our story. No, you want to get mad when white America casts a white actor as Michael Jackson. You want to go protest that shit. Well, that's their shit. That's their apparatus. The root word in what?
Contract.
In contract. Oh, it's con. Exactly. Exactly. Prince. Motherfucker would not let you get his records. He would not put his records on iTunes. Michael Jackson. Listen. My mama has my will. My mama got my will. And in my will, my mama is the executor. Michael Joseph Jackson. We have a newer one. Nigga, who said? We have a newer one that says we're the executives and she's the co-executor. Now, Michael Jackson in the 80s bought some publishing, and then he created Sony ATV Publishing with Japan, Sony. Not the white people here in America, with the people who created Sony in Japan. They were partners. They tried to take that shit from him because they saw it growing. How you get Roy Orbison's publishing? How you get all, Little Richard, bring your shit over here too. Hey, over 300,000 records with an annual revenue over $1 billion, and he broke when he dies? Oh, well, he was coked out. He was on Oxycontin. It ain't enough Oxycontin. He would have died. You see, Prince just died off some Percocets. Come on. He would have died. Too much money for you to keep living that high. Do you understand what I'm saying? And just a few years after he's gone, that intergenerational piece of wealth has been purchased.
All is white with the world dead.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Prince just died a month after he got all of his publishing, after 18 years of fighting. And I'm glad his family has control of his music. Ownership. You can't have ownership until you create your own business. Mike created a business. He pimped Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney said, hey, the real money is in publishing. He said, oh, cool, I'm going to buy your publishing. while you and Yoko Ono haggling over $5 million, here's $45 million for the Beatles records. Let's do business. If we can't do business with each other, and see, this is the elephant in the room, black people don't like each other. Black people don't respect each other. Black people are just as racist as white supremacists because we use white supremacist ideals to evaluate each other. That's why we won't do business. That's why we won't support. That's why we won't MASH. In 2 hours, we got 2 donations. We trying to give shit away to get people to participate. That's the only way we're going to really become a terrorist act, a terrorist group. Just don't forget, Tulsa, Oklahoma was the site of the first American terrorist act, really. These motherfuckers dropped a bomb on a city of affluent black people, over 600 businesses. The first time there was a bomb dropped anywhere was a bomb dropped on that city. Do you understand? Black togetherness. Black recycling of dollars, black organization, black appreciation. And when I say black, I'm talking about African Americans, people who were born here in this system. When we get together, that is a terrorist act. If they'll kill Gaddafi for trying to get off the dollar and use gold, they will kill your ass for going to your cleaners. Do you understand? But at the end of the day, we can't be afraid of that. We gotta embarrass them in front of the world. That's what happened with Malcolm and Dr. King. I'm going to embarrass you intellectually in front of the world. I'm going to make you look like an animal to the world. That's what we got to do. Our organization will make them go, well, what the fuck was y'all doing all these years with these people? But niggas is scared of that. Niggas is scared to die. Some of us need to be pruned. We're a bush that needs some pruning.
Some niggers need to kill him.
Right. That needs to happen.
They need to kill him.
So I'm just going to say this again. I'm going to keep having a conversation. I'm not afraid to have the conversation. I'm going to tell you right now, if you get a Mexican president or a female president, she's going to be the same president Obama was. Yep. Obama was the same president Bush was. Their job is not to fucking cater. At the end of the day, this is white America. It's the White House. It's a white corporation. White supremacy is part of it. But if you don't say, fuck your standards, fuck your beliefs, fuck your narratives, I'm writing my own with my people, you're going to always be in a position of demanding. Give me. Oh, well, a little diversity will help you, wouldn't it? Let's facilitate some diversity for these niggas. Diversity reinforces racism. That's all it does.
Sprinkle some crumbs for the
Here's some
Negroes.
diversity for your neighborhood, Negroes. You want some lawns? Here's some grass. But if you say, fuck you, your belief system, your ideology, all that shit, fuck you. We're going to do this ourselves. If we do it that way, they're going to be like, where the fuck the niggas go? Larry Johnson said, you know what, black athletes should organize their own union and create their own league. Do you know how huge of a fucking idea that is? First off, please understand, there's 700, or in China, there's 200 7-footers in China. They might not be athletic, but the motherfuckers getting ready to come to the league. Do you understand? The league is going international. They're trying to get other people so they don't have to deal with Negro entourages. Do you understand?
They want to deal with them.
Right. If they getting ready to move on from your ass, why not organize, unionize, and create your own league? You'd rather get paid than pay yourself.
And they need to fire their agents and managers and hire black agents, managers, and lawyers.
How about that?
Bingo. That's all I want to say on that.
How about that? This brother's a lawyer. He got to get paid by us.
Not just any black.
And make sure to go to Tone Talks and listen to my discussion with Ron Artest. It was something else. Meta World Peace.
There it is. Bobby, where can they find you?
At Glanton Smith on Twitter, my website, www.realmendon'tplay. Man, it's been a wonderful show today.
Real Nagas YouTube channel, Real Nagas at Gmail, and 3bbootcamp.com if you want to learn how to box.
This Wednesday, don't miss it, at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles Lounge. Jeff Brown will be hosting a comedy show of epic proportion with only headliners, other headliners. Very funny show. Nobody unfunny to sit through.
Great show. Dr. G.
At Mark Ghoulston, MarkGoulston.
Antonio Moore.
YouTube and Twitter, Tone Talks, TONETALKS. Tomorrow, UCLA, they'll be having a Martin Luther King Remembrance Day talking about the college industrial complex and CTE.
Wow.
Come out tomorrow. I'm moderating.
Wow. There it is.
Ben Amalu will be there.
There we go.
Right
Dr.
now,
Boyce.
Right now, we're on the Black Economic Empowerment Tour. We're doing Baltimore in a couple of days, then Philly, then Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, New York, and Las Vegas. So you can go to thedrboycewatkinstour.com to find out more.
Rita G.
Such an honor to be surrounded by so many handsome brothers who are intellectually stimulating. The real Rita G on Twitter.
Listen, Wednesday night, I'm at Kentucky State University doing a lecture on manhood. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to go hard in the paint. Come out. I'm going to have books. We're going to do a book signing. We're doing lectures down there. Kentucky State University is 6 p.m. I will be there. And don't forget, anybody who donates $50 or more, you will get underwear for yourself and your woman in the email. All you got to do is type in MeUndies. And anybody who buys the relationship dismount from my website, I am Zoe Williams, you'll also get a free pair of underwear. Just put in MeUndies. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another barn burner, the Zoe What Morning Show. We out!
Bam. And I respect all mothers, so I don't say that in disrespect, but I do think that it was not a positive thing for you as a young girl growing up, and her putting that on you was telling you that you're ugly, that you're not good enough.
You're a pretty girl, but to be dark. Why I gotta be pretty to be dark? Why I just can't be pretty? You know, why do I have to add that on? Being a child growing up.
He said that you was pretty for a dark.
You are watching T Radio V, Radio and TV.